The recording has started. It is Saturday, December 3rd, 2016. You're listening to the Line Sports Talk Podcast, Saturday Pick'em edition for Week 13 of the NFL season. We are experiencing all kinds of technical difficulties, so like everything else in our lives, we're just going to deal with it. Instead of dragging our feet, usual suspects are in the house today. Joey Peeps, Pepper Jack. Let's get after our picks, and let's see what we like today.
Let's go.
Let's wing it.
Wing it. All right. First game of the week is Detroit at New Orleans. This is New Orleans Saints at home. Say that 3 times over again. Are a 6.5-point favorite. Over-under here is high, as to be expected, at 52. Joey Peeps, why don't you give us your side of the story? Bring on the points.
I don't see any way in this matchup here that you will not see a quarterback shootout between Matthew Stafford and Drew Brees. Do not expect the unders or any defense at all in this game. The Saints are a very good team when they're at home. They play very well in there, and they do put up a lot of points. But I like the way the Lions are playing. They're playing good football under Jim Caldwell. I didn't see this coming. I never thought that the Lions would have a chance to win this division, but I actually believe they are going to win this. They're going to win this division. I think we're going to see a good game good game here. A lot of points, but I do think the Saints pull it out at home, 38-35.
38-35. Joey Peeps going high and reaching for the stars early. Pepper Jack, what about you?
Detroit is 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 games, I believe, according to my stats.
You're right.
Getting 6. They're getting a 6-banger. I agree with Joey Peeps. It should be a shootout. I see an awful lot of Drew Brees and Matthew Stafford. Total I have is 52. Is that what you have?
I have it at 52 as well, yep.
All right, I'm going to go New Orleans 30, Detroit 26. It's going to go over the total, but Detroit is going to cover with the +6. Thank you.
Detroit covering with the 6. I got it at 6.5, so it has been fluctuating. I think it even opened up at 5 earlier in the week. You are right. They are 6-1. Detroit is against the spread in their last 7. They are 7-4 this season against the spread, and 7-4 straight up as well. This team covers. When they win, they cover. And actually, I did pull it up. It did open up at 5. Little tidbit to note in a game that is this monster Superdome Sunday public powerhouse overs game, Detroit is an unders team. They've gone under in their last 5 games. Yeah, good to note. That defense up front of Detroit, especially against the run, plays a little bit better than they deserve credit for, but they are the worst. I think they're still the worst in the NFL against the pass, and that falls right into one Mr. Drew Brees' lap. I think that there's no way this game isn't a shootout either. Statistics and trends this season defensively can be really, really misleading. 33-26. New Orleans Saints win. Barely cover.
Yeah, here's a game bit. I think you got to jump on any and all New Orleans Saints receivers because Detroit, even though they did pretty well on Thanksgiving against Minnesota, they're going to see an onslaught of Drew Brees, onslaught of passing.
Yeah, in New Orleans compared to Minnesota are 2 completely different passing.
Speaking of New Orleans, I want to say R.I.P. to Joe McKnight. Those situations should never have to come to that.
Yeah, that's a bunch of horse shit. Whole thing's a bunch of horse shit beginning to end. Nobody should get shot over a traffic stop, whatever the reason was. Lighter note regarding termination, Houston Texans are going up to Wisconsin, take on the Green Bay Packers. Packers turned it around Monday night. Don't you know?
Who's bringing the brats?
They look good, eh? I think Brock Osweiler sucks. I say that week in and week out. I'm really, really hard on him because he sucks.
Yeah, that's pretty much that's going around these days.
It is. Green Bay's a 6.5-point favorite. Over under here 45 points. I'm going to start it off. Last week I tried to give Houston and Osweiler a little bit of credit against San Diego at home. It just didn't work. They got throttled. They got punched around. Osweiler's terrible. Green Bay beat up on Philadelphia on Monday night. They're going to beat up on Houston at home, and they're not done yet. I think Green Bay wins the game 31-16. Be surprised if Houston scores more than 14 points. I'll be shocked. I see that 16 on maybe a turnover where they pull a couple field goals out of something there, but 31-16 Green Bay. Whoever wants.
So Has the GM of the Houston Texans officially started cleaning out his office? Because I think it is a foregone conclusion that Brock Osweiler just can't play. He's not a good quarterback. He is sure as hell not a franchise quarterback. If anything, with any luck, he could be maybe a decent backup somewhere. I don't see really much else to it. Yeah, I do like the Packers as well in this game. But if you are Brock Osweiler, I have to say, with Green Bay's pass defense, if you cannot complete passes and look good against this pass defense, you're not going to look good against anybody. Green Bay's pass defense especially is terrible. It's like a layup line. But I like him in this game, especially at home. I agree. I think Green Bay might have a little something left in the tank. The problem is that defense just can't stop anybody. But I will take the Packers to win this game, 28-17 in the 28-17. 28-17. If you would have listened.
Shut up, Pepper Jack. What do you got here?
Well, the total has gone over 4 of Green Bay's last 5 games. Houston, on the other hand, their last 6 road games, they have gone over the total 4 times. I got that spread right around 44.5 to 45. I don't know what you have it at. Sidebar, Aaron Rodgers is banged up. I think he's questionable. I would have to think, since Green Bay's 5-6 and fighting for their playoff lives, that he'll find a way to get in the lineup. I see Green Bay. Green Bay made some leaps and strides last Monday night against Philadelphia. It looked like their offense was their offense of old, and also their defense did not play as bad as I suspected. Houston, on the other hand, has a pretty good defense, pretty good pass defense. I do see Green Bay at home winning, though. If Rodgers plays, they cover the 6. I give them a 27-20 victory to Green Bay.
27-20 Green Bay. Yeah, that makes the most sense. Let me jump on to the next game here, which I actually have starred as my game of the week. Kansas City Chiefs travel to Atlanta to take on the Atlanta Falcons in the Georgia Dome. Atlanta is a 5-point favorite at home. The over-under here is 49. Whoever wants it first, go for it.
I love the Falcons. I always like the Falcons at home. I don't like Falcons are a team that are different. They're different on the road, but I always like I do like this team at home. I would go this one. I'd go 31-21 Atlanta. Like I said, I like it. Atlanta's offense plays very well, especially, like I said, especially at home. Julio Jones is a matchup nightmare for absolutely everybody. I'll roll with the Falcons at home.
Gotcha. Pepper Jack, what do you got?
I have Julio Jones in 2 out of my 3 fantasy leagues, and boy, he's been a disappointment this year. It hurts when you watch Taylor Gabriel. Who would have thunk it if you had the opportunity to take Julio Jones in the first round, as I did, or I believe, maybe the second round in one league. But when Taylor Gabriel is outperforming Julio Jones, there's something wrong with the fantasy world. But that's just the kind of luck I've had this year. Kansas City 6-1 straight up in its last 7 games. They're getting 6 points in Atlanta in a dome. I think Atlanta wins the game. I think Kansas City, though, will benefit with that 6-point spread. Give me Atlanta 26, Kansas City 22.
Well, you weren't the first one to make the mistake. Speaking of Kansas City's quarterback, it was Mel Kiper, the genius that is Mel Kiper, did fanatically say that he's a much better option than is Aaron Rodgers. So,
that's
kind of one of those things.
Directly from the horse's ass, Mel Kiper. I love Atlanta in this game. I'm just not convinced that Kansas City is what their record says they are. I think this is one of those scenarios where 18-3 in their last 21 games. This is a good football team according to the record, but Tampa went into their house and just dominated up front. Tampa won that game defensively. I don't know that Atlanta has the defense that Tampa does. I don't think they do. But for whatever reason, I just don't see the Kansas City Chiefs being able to score a lot of points. It's just not something they do well. Their wide receivers are generally non-existent unless they're involved in some sort of trickeration or they're forcing Tyreek Hill to get the ball in space somehow or another. I think Atlanta actually rolls them 38-14.
Wow. How about that?
Yeah,
one, man? Alex Smith is just allergic to throwing the ball more than 20 yards.
Yeah,
so,
can't push the ball downfield. They don't have receiving targets that get me excited by any stretch. I think Atlanta can take this one away, and Atlanta can run the ball with anybody. So 38-14 Atlanta. Moving on. Baltimore is host to the Miami Dolphins. Baltimore is a 3.5-point favorite. Over under here, 40.5.
I hate both of these teams with a passion. I wish they could cancel this game and give both these teams losses. I have no love for either one of these, but I have to admit, as a Jets fan, I will when it is what it is. The Miami Dolphins are playing good football right now. They have been for quite some time, and they've really snuck into the picture here, and it's kind of disturbing to me as I watch my Jets will lose week after week. But on that note, I think Miami goes into Baltimore and pulls it out. I think they win this game 20-17 on a last field goal. I'm not like I said all year long, I'm not a believer in the Baltimore Ravens. Just not. Yeah, I mean, I really think Pittsburgh should come back win that. I already fucking did 20-17.
Pepper Jack, what do you got here, man?
Well, Miami's on a 6-game winning streak, and here again every week we tip our hats to Adam Gase, who's doing a fabulous job in Miami. Yeah. Baltimore's rush defense has just been very, very good this year. I don't see a whole lot of production out of Ajayi. Ryan Tannehill's been playing well. Is Miami going to have to pass the football this Sunday? I believe they're going to have to pass the ball to win. Miami's 5-0 straight up in its last 5 games. I've got that line at 3.5. Is that what you stated, Tom?
I do have it at 3.5, yes.
I'm going to use that half of a point this week. I'm going to say Baltimore pulls this game out 20-17, pretty similar to what Peep says.
I gotcha.
It's going to go under the total of 41. Miami plus the 3.5 is who I'll take. 2017 Baltimore is your final.
Yeah, we're all on the same page. I'll keep this one short and sweet. I think it's a pretty good game. The more and more you think about it, Baltimore's defense versus what offense Miami has. But I think Miami's defense is better than Baltimore's offense. This is just one of those games that could go either way. Home field advantage should probably have a little bit to do with it. Don't know what the weather's going to look like in Baltimore. I am slowly creeping to that page to tell us that answer, and it's going to be 52 and sunny with no wind. So not a big issue there. I do think Baltimore wins the game 21-20, but I would take Miami plus the points if you absolutely made me do it. Gun to my head, I'd take the fish and 3.5. So this week, the Cleveland Browns have a bye week. Joey, what's your score?
I would go bye week 24, Cleveland Browns 7.
Yeah, tight one, but to be expected.
I think the Browns might attack on a field goal. I go bye week 27, Browns 10.
27-10. Yeah, it's sad commentary. Don't like the news I'm hearing out of Cleveland at all about the possible regime change. Again, looking to clean out the front office. Hopefully that this is just the reporters. There's nothing to talk about. But I think we've spent more than enough time on the Cleveland Browns for one show.
They are flushing. They're flushing the stink of Ray Farmer away. Hopefully.
Yeah, they're circling the drain quickly. Denver at Jacksonville. Speaking of bad football teams, Jacksonville's a bad football team. Denver's a 3-point favorite on the road. Jacksonville, it's ugly to be a home dog, especially when the team you're playing is coming cross country. But Denver's still a good football team. Over under here, 39.5. I know Trevor Siemian is out. They did say today officially that he's out. Paxton Lynch will start. Paxton Lynch is going to be a different quarterback than he was 7-8 weeks ago when he did get that spot start. I think he's going to have a little bit more experience. This game might hang a little bit tighter than one thinks, but I think Denver wins the game 23-16, just enough to cover.
Yeah, I'm all in on the Denver Broncos this game. I'm all out on the Jacksonville Jaguars as a whole. It's a bad football team. Gus Bradley's one of those. His seat's pretty damn hot right now. It'd probably be like sitting on a tea kettle. Denver, I think Paxton Lynch actually shows some signs this week, and I think he shows that he may very well be a longer-term solution for them. I'm going to go Denver. I'm going to go the Ponies to win this 24-14.
24-14. I'm with you. Pepper Jack, where do you stand?
Well, I got the computer pick in front of me, and this computer believes that the Denver Broncos are going to squeak out a 2-point victory over Jacksonville. They predict a 23-21 game. I'm kind of in agreement with you regarding Jacksonville. Looking down the list, other than the Cleveland Browns or the San Francisco 49ers, I think Jacksonville is probably the largest disappointment this season in the NFL.
Yeah, they got
a lot of season ticket holders in Jacksonville thought this was the year we're going to turn it around, and unfortunately for them, they're stuck holding those tickets.